Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Sekia. I talk about fitness, nutrition, and everything in between. If that sounds like something you are interested in, please give this video a like and subscribe so you don't miss any videos in the future. If it's one thing about me, I'm gonna eat good, all right? For those of you that have been following me for a while, you know that in the beginning of my fitness journey several years ago, I used to be very strict on what I eat and just educating myself and understanding food, my relationship with food, and how our body processes food. I have grown such a better relationship with food. Now I'm able to eat good and keep this nice physique that I got going on here. Today's video is gonna be super quick. I was cooking dinner for us this past Sunday and I decided why not record it. Traditionally, people love like a nice hearty Sunday dinner. It's just a nice start to the week. I actually found this Martha Stewart recipe on the internet. I have a Dutch oven. I don't really get to use it that much. So I decided to pull out some ingredients that I have and make this pasta that I'm going to show you today. If you're anything like me, like the last thing I want on a Sunday night is meal prep. Like I don't want anything like extremely healthy, salad, things like that. Sunday, you just want feel good comfort food. That's typically what people want. And I think that this one pot recipe is a good balance between hearty and healthy. I don't really think this particular dish has a name. It's literally called one pan or one pot recipe everywhere that I've seen it. It is an Italian based dish. It's very light, very summery. The best thing about it is it takes literally like less than 30 minutes to make everything that I'm about to show you in today's video. So grab a pen and paper, grab your notepad, whatever, and let's get to cooking. Okay, so here's all the ingredients you're gonna need. Some tomatoes, fresh garlic, a little bit of basil, chicken broth, pecorino cheese, a bell pepper, an onion, some chicken, and of course, the pasta. So first things first, we want to cook some chicken. And of course, you can make this vegan or vegetarian. If you don't want any chicken, just skip this step. Or if you want to add some tofu or some shrimp or anything, totally do that. So I just get the chicken ready, season it nice and well with some Slap Yo Mama seasoning. It's basically Cajun seasoning. And then this Trader Joe's seasoning. It's my favorite to use on chicken because chicken is a very, very bland meat. So I feel like these two seasonings combined really just give the chicken some flavor. Grab a pan, line it with some foil so everything stays nice and juicy. And of course, you don't want your chicken to be dry like the Sahara, so you gotta put some oil on there, spread it around, and it's ready for the oven. This pasta dish is actually pretty loaded in vegetables. I love having a bunch of color in my dishes. I feel like you're really hitting your micronutrients, like your vitamins and minerals. And it just makes it a little bit more appealing to eat, and everything's just bland in one color. But when you have some assortment of the rainbow on your plate, it just makes you feel like you're actually getting a well-balanced meal. First up, we got an onion. I don't know what type of pasta dish people make it without onions, but it's essential when you're making a dish. So I used about half an onion. I didn't chop them up into diced. I kind of kept them pretty thick for this recipe. Moving on to my orange bell pepper. I think this recipe called for a red bell pepper, but this pepper in my refrigerator was going pretty bad. So I just wanted to utilize it and plus give it a different color than the tomatoes. I kind of really like colorful pastas, especially when the sauce is light. And again, I kind of chop these up pretty thick as well. They're not diced. Moving on to garlic. You want to have those minced as much as you can. Since I'm using fresh garlic, I don't really trip if they're thick. But of course you can use garlic powder. If you have like the pre-jar minced garlic, that works just as well. Moving on to the basil. I got about a handful of basil. So this is probably about 3/4 of a cup. Chop that up. Now we have the tomatoes. I cut these in I think quarters or maybe just halves. But definitely want to keep them about the same size as you cut your peppers and your onions, just to make sure everything cooks nice and evenly. And we have our vegetables all washed and prepped. All right, it's time to get cooking. Of course, get your Dutch oven. If you have a regular large skillet, that will work too. Baste the bottom of the pan with some olive oil. I'm not Italian, so yes, I do bring up the noodles. I know Italians don't do that. I know you're not supposed to do that, but it just makes for a better eating experience when it is broken up before you boil them. throw in all your veggies, your tomatoes, onion, peppers, garlic, and your basil. This is about 2.5 cups of chicken broth. You can use vegetable broth if you're making this dish vegetarian or vegan. And it's time for some seasonings. I believe that I use paprika, oregano, parsley, thyme, rosemary, salt, and pepper. Definitely don't want to be stingy on the seasoning either way. That's what's going to make this pasta really good. All right, so you want to bring that to a boil, and of course to lower the simmer until the noodles are done, typically about 10 to 12 minutes. Chicken is all done and ready to go. I think I left the chicken in there for about 10 to 15 minutes, and I'm putting them on a plate to serve for later. Those look really good there. And we have reached the star of the show, because what is pasta without some garlic bread? And so I usually just buy frozen garlic bread, but I was like, you know, since I'm making all this other stuff, let me just go ahead and buy some bread. I think this is sourdough bread. I'm not 100% sure. And I just cut it in half for this meal. I'm only using half of it. And I chop them into pretty thick toast slices. Then you want to get a mixing bowl. I used about 4 to 5 garlic cloves, about 1/4 cup of chopped parsley. I didn't have any fresh parsley, so I'm just using like the seasoning, but I'm pretty sure fresh would taste better. Using about 1/4 cup of pecorino cheese. You want a good amount of butter, probably like a full stick of butter. This is probably about 4 tablespoons of butter. And I just mash it up and mix it all together so I can get ready to spread it on the bread. Once you have everything nice and evenly spread over the toast, you want to just place it on a baking sheet. Spray it with some olive oil. You want to make sure that the bread is not dry. And I think I put it in the oven for about 10 minutes at 400. So by this time, your pasta should be all done. Mix it up just a little bit. And then this is when you want to add the pecorino cheese once it's all done and cooked. And then you can turn it off the heat or remove it from the heat. Just let it thicken nice for about 5 to 10 more minutes. Basically, when the bread is done, the pasta will be ready to serve. So me and my boyfriend, we always eat on the couch. Like, we like to watch Jeopardy as we eat dinner. So we just eat on the couch near the coffee table. But for this dinner, I did decide to set the table. Not too fancy, but you know, just have a nice Sunday dinner. Since I put all this work and effort into the meal, why not just go ahead and set the table and be extra? And of course, I recommend like utilizing what you have. You know, I placed the bread on the cutting board that I use to chop all the vegetables. I washed it off. I just used a regular white plate to place the chicken, and my Dutch oven, I kept the pasta in there for serving. And we actually got this wine from Jamaica. It's a Cabernet. It was pretty good. That was our first time opening it. And this is how I plated it with some chicken. Everything was really good. We actually finished almost that entire pot. I think it's perfect since it's hot outside. You know, you don't want a bunch of like heavy spaghetti sauce all the time. So whenever I can find something quick that doesn't require a lot of cleaning and prep work, I think it's a win-win. But anyway, guys, that is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed what you see. If you would like more videos like this, please let me know. If you tried this recipe out or made it your own, please let me know. Again, I will link it in the description box below where I got the original recipe. And until next time, I'll see y'all later.